You see a lot of videos on YouTube talking about how somebody became a developer, how they got their first job and stuff like that. Well, today I want to tell you a different story. Today I want to tell you how I became a TanStack maintainer and how I started from nothing and got to a point where I'm maintaining one of the largest ecosystems in the JavaScript world together with a team of like 30 people. So let's talk about my journey. Well, it all started with a simple CLI called React Igniter. So React Igniter is one of the first things I ever created, and as you can see, the last commit was yup validation, so you know it's old. And how I created this was I used TypeScript to create a small CLI that would allow you to generate React components. It also had a cool logo. So what it did was it basically generated React components, and if I remember correctly, it used yup, and you could, so you could use React hook form, so it would allow you to say, hey, I want a name, surname, whatever, and it would generate like a component that has everything hooked up. So all you had to do was basically implement the submit call and stuff like that. And it also emitted either TypeScript or JavaScript, and you can just read through this. It's not something that's really cool. I kind of built it as my first foray into open source, where I wanted to try to build something useful for others. And I posted this on Reddit, and there were some people interested in this, and I think launched it on like Product Hunter somewhere, if I remember correctly, and I got a few likes there and stuff like that, but nobody actually used this. As you can see, it has like 368 downloads a year, so it's pretty dead. And I remember when I created this that I would push commits out, so I would publish new releases, and I would get like 60, 70 downloads every time I did. And I was super excited because I thought, wow, people are interested in my package. And it turned out to actually be not people interested, but NPM created like mirrors, and how they do that is they download the package, so that increases the download count artificially. So there were no people actually using my open source package. It was basically just NPM doing infrastructure things with my package, and I hit like 1000 downloads as I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And it was like in a week, and it turned out to be like 5 or 6 actual downloads on NPM. And this is kind of where my journey died. So what happened is I had this like crazy CLI in my head, and I published it, did these things, I got like 1000 downloads, and I was really like excited about it. And then after a while, I got a new job, I had to switch, so my focus was shifted somewhere else. And I kind of stopped trying to do this CLI and open source for a while, and I went back to my regular 9 to 5. I did that for like half a year, something like that. And then I actually got a new job. And then I got a new job in this company called Mapflow. And I actually got this job through G2I. And this is not really a sponsored video, so I'm just gonna mention that I got this job through them and their amazing platform, but that's not the focus of the video, so let's move on. And what Mapflow was a startup in Canada, and basically what this allowed you to do is when you go to a pharmacy, you could get some prescription medicine without going to the doctors. You could fill out a form, and if you match the criteria, you could get some medication without having to visit your doctor. How we built this was with Remix, and Remix is actually how I got into open source. While working on this project, what I did was I created an abstraction over React hook form, and that abstraction later became Remix hook form. And this was actually my first serious open source project. And it's actually alive and maintained to this day. As you can see, it has 1.5 million downloads. It has like 26 downloads a week, so 100,000 a month. And it's a simple abstraction over React hook form that works well with Remix. It sends validated data to the server, then validates it there and sends it back and stuff like that. So it works really nicely with React hook form. And this was the point of my life where I kind of got hooked onto open source. And what happened was I posted this on the Remix server. Everybody loved it. Well, a lot of people loved it, and I was kind of hooked because I really love helping people. And then I started developing it and added some new features in and stuff like that. And while doing that, I was thinking how nice it would be if there was an actual way for you to use a VS Code extension that would allow you to use Remix in a better way. I was like, heck it, I'm gonna build it myself. My next project became Remix Forge. And what Remix Forge is it's a VS Code extension and it's built for Remix. So for example, if I bring something up like a Remix project, and then for example, if I right click on app routes, you get this extension telling you like generate remix route, generate remix form route, and this allows you to like generate either with conform or remix hook form, like a route with actual code in it. And then you have a bunch of other stuff like convert routes to version 2 convention and barrelize folder. So these are kind of old patterns, and I haven't really maintained Remix Forge in like a very long time, so it's kind of dead. But basically this made it easier to do some stuff in Remix and avoid the boilerplate. And you could even do something like right click on the package JSON and then update the remix version, initialize ESLint and prettier, initialize Shadcn UI and stuff like that. This VS Code extension was really fun, and I had a lot of fun building it, but it wasn't really anything special, at least not in my eyes. And it had a few thousand downloads, I think. People really liked it, but I kind of stopped maintaining it after a while because I just shifted my priorities. And what I shifted my priorities to is my magnum opus, React Router DevTools. Or at that time they were known as Remix DevTools, but I kind of rebranded as soon as they did because it didn't make much sense after the renaming. So I built the DevTools for Remix and later on React Router version 7. And this is kind of the project I became known for, and it has like 950 stars, it has 75,000 downloads a week, 3.3 million a year, and this was kind of like my passion project and something I really love building is DevTools. This is something I thoroughly enjoyed building because it allowed me to see into the framework and what it was doing. And I really got good at that because I had to go around the internals, figure them out, dig deep, and understand the code base in order to implement this. And after they switched to Vite, I had to switch my focus as well and learn Vite. And after a while, I got really good at both React Router and Vite. Then I decided to build a couple of other libraries for Remix/React Router that were just useful for me. And those libraries were Remix Client Cache. This actually allows you to basically cache your routes with stale while revalidate strategy. So basically it instantly loads up the page and then switches the data when it's updated from the loader. And this is a really cool package, and I usually like bringing it to all my projects like at the very end of the project and to make the routes really fast with like a few lines of code. And then after that there was also Remix Toast. Remix Toast is just a server-side way of handling toast notifications. This is a really cool one as well because you can use it with middleware and then you just pop the data into a session and then show it on the client. It doesn't really force any client library, so you can use something like Sonar, you can use React Toastify, you can use anything you want, and you can even see it in the docs. And then you have this bunch of utility functions. And this was also a really fun and useful project for me because it just solved the problems I had. And I think that's kind of the whole point of it, where you're just trying to solve your own problems. As you solve them and give them to other people, they also solve their problems with your solution, and it kind of snowballs to a point where you're really excited about your project and contributing to it and helping other people. That is kind of how you get into open source, is by wanting to help others, because that's the only way you're gonna be able to thrive in the open source community. Because if you're just in it for the money or fame or something like that, you're probably never gonna hit that point. So I just rather do it for the right reasons than the wrong ones, but that's just my 2 cents. And after building all of this, I actually realized that it's pretty hard for me to keep creating all of these new open source projects. And really, it's such a pain to like initialize a new repository, then set all of the publishing up and stuff like that. And that was about the time when I built the open source stack. And basically, this is a public template. This allows me to set up new repositories really easily. And I've migrated most of my projects to this already. So for example, if I have to fix a bug somewhere, all of the infrastructure is the same, so I don't really have to like switch my context from one project to the other. All of them use the same terminology, same commands and stuff like that, and this really allowed me to pump out new projects. And one of the new projects that I was really excited about and love to this day is the Vite plugin icon sprite sheet. And this is basically a Vite plugin that allows you to create a folder with icons, and then it creates a sprite sheet with those icons that you can use in your project. And if you don't know why we would do that, it's a whole icon library optimization technique that allows you to basically load a very small bundle for the icons compared to like JSX rendering them and stuff. If you want to learn more about it, you can on this link here in the repository, and it's a really great article that goes over how it works and why you should use it. And basically just plug it in into your Vite config, and this was kind of my adventure in Vite. I also built a lot of other projects like SEO tools that allow you to create SEO in a type-safe manner. I also created a Storyblock plugin, and yeah, there's a lot of projects I've done, and along the way I even like contributed to some well-known projects like Tailwind and React Router and stuff like that. So I was all over the place just helping others and running into bugs and then reporting them, trying to fix them myself. And yeah, it gets to a point where you're really comfortable like creating productions, figuring out bugs in other people's code bases and stuff like that, because you keep digging, and then after a while you get really good at digging. And that is kind of my story of how I got to a point where I was like the React Router guy. And everybody knew me as that because that's all I did, was basically create packages for React Router, educational content on YouTube. And that also reminds me that I started my YouTube channel in all of this, and then created educational content for React Router. And if you've been following me for a while, you probably already know that. If you didn't, that's great. And after all of this really cool guy named Corbin actually DM'd me and said, hey man, we're kind of trying to build DevTools for our TanStack ecosystem. We have query DevTools, we have router DevTools. They both work with mounting it on the DOM. We kind of want to make it a singular experience. We know that you've been doing React Router DevTools for a while. You did Remix DevTools and stuff like that. Would you be interested in helping us figure it out? And at that point, I was kind of really flabbergasted because I couldn't believe that the TanStack community approached me for help on building something for the TanStack ecosystem. And not because I was a React Router guy or something like that, but just for the fact that I feel like I'm like a literally nobody, or at least like a very small time dev. And then you have people from TanStack asking for my help to build something. And I was really shocked and excited to actually help them do this. And I said yes, naturally. And that is how TanStack Devtools came to life. So TanStack Devtools is a harness that allows you to add your own DevTools into them. And basically this was kind of all of the lessons I've learned with React Router DevTools. And I've taken all of that knowledge and transferred them to this repository and built something that the whole JavaScript ecosystem can use. So this package can run on JavaScript, Solid, Angular, React, whatever. It has almost 1 million downloads a month already, and it's such a fun project that I've enjoyed thoroughly building. And it has a whole ecosystem around it. It has a lot of packages, and it has these kind of event buses that talk to each other, and it's like really complex and really cool and really powerful. And you could build your own DevTools like for your own products and stuff like that. So it is really, really cool. And after this project, I actually became an official TanStack maintainer and got welcomed into the TanStack community. So that was really exciting for me. And that is how I became a TanStack maintainer. And after like a few months of being there, we have our internal Discord channels where we talk about like maintaining the packages and stuff. And one day I just decided to ask like, hey, can we build TanStack AI? Coincidentally enough, Tanner was already talking with Jack Harrington, about building TanStack AI. That is how we started talking about building TanStack AI and bringing it to the masses. I really wanted to learn building with AI and make it easy for myself because I wasn't as experienced in AI as a lot of people who've been doing it for years and following it from the start. So I wanted to build a package that solves my problem. And that problem is easily creating experiences in my applications with AI. And whether it's like structured outputs, transcription, text-to-speech translation, real-time stuff, whatever, I wanted to build that for myself and for others to help everybody make a better application. And that is how the last project that I've got involved in, at least at the point of making of this video, got conceived. And that is TanStack AI. So TanStack AI is like a brand new project. It's in early alpha. We're still iterating over it. But this project is one of my favorite things that I've done up to this point next to the DevTools. And I'm really in love with what we're building over here. And it already has like almost 40,000 downloads amount, which is really exciting because, like I said, we're in early alpha. So it's not something that you expect everybody to use right off the bat. And we are building the future of AI usage with this package. And this is not really about me talking about the package to promote it, but rather to say that I've come from the point of like being a nobody to a point where I'm maintaining one of the biggest projects in the JavaScript ecosystem, which is kind of crazy and mind-blowing. And I just wanted to encourage others to try to join into the open source communities and try them themselves. Because there's a lot of stigma around open source, and you usually have this mindset of people thinking that it's for like college students who should try to like earn some free points and create their portfolios and the GitHub and stuff like that. And then for serious people, they work for companies and that's it. And that's like so far from the truth, and you probably know that already, or at least I hope you do. And yeah, that's kind of my story and how I got to this point. And let me tell you, it's been a hell of a ride. I kind of condensed it into this like short story, and it's probably like 20 or 30 minutes long already on the video. And imagine if I went into the nitty-gritty details. I've organized events, I've talked to like hundreds of open source maintainers and met some of them. I made friends along the way, I've opened and closed a dev agency, I've went to different countries to talk on events, I've made some actual decent money out of it. And yeah, it's crazy how far you can get with open source, and I would recommend it to everybody. And if you want to get into open source, ask me in the comments, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll reply and let you know what I think about it and how you can get into it. The best way is to actually like pick a niche and start there and solve your own problems, because when you solve your own problems, you're solving someone else's problem, and sharing that with others is empowering. And also, if you already reached this point, please don't forget to like the video, share it with others, and feel free to leave a comment as well. And thank you. That's it for today, and see you in the next one. Bye!